This is the second instalment of a two-part video guide of what to expect if you appeal against a decision regarding your personal independence payment. Part 1 advised regarding the preparation for your appeal, and this part shows what happens during a hearing. The tribunal panel will be made up of 3 people: a legally qualified member, a doctor, and a person with experience of disability. The legal member will explain how the tribunal is to be run and that all the panel members are independent. The hearing should be quite informal to help put you at ease. The legal member will take a note of what is happening at the hearing. Normally, each panel member will ask questions to assist you give evidence which is relevant to the point scoring criteria.
Hello, Mr. Barlow. My name is Mr. Stewart, and I'm going to be chairing the tribunal hearing today. It's important that you know that we are totally independent of the benefit office that made the decision on your case. And our role today is to decide if the correct decision was made back in December last year. Now, my colleagues, Dr. Green and Mrs. Smith, are going to be asking you some questions later about your ability to complete certain tasks, and that's going to assist us to make our decision. Now, Mr. Barlow, we recognise you may be nervous today. We don't want you to worry. We're here just to try and get some further information about how your condition affects you. We want to hear in your own words how you are affected by your medical conditions. Okay? Now, we would like if you just answer the questions that we ask, and if there's anybody else who wants to add anything at the end, they'll be given an opportunity. Okay? I'm going to pass you over now to Dr. Green, who will ask you some questions about your medical conditions and in particular about your ability to mobilise. Okay?
I've had an opportunity to go through your appeal papers and the additional medical evidence that you've sent into the tribunal. Thank you for that. I can see that you've had a long-term problem with your hips and with your back, and that you're also being treated for depression. Can you tell us which of these conditions causes you the greatest problem?
It's hard to say. Basically, as my hips and my back have got worse, I've kind of really got down about the level of pain and how restricted I've become.
Have you ever seen a specialist about your conditions?
Yeah, I've seen a consultant about my back, but basically he said there wasn't much could be done. I then went back and seen a consultant about my hip, and after an MRI, he basically said I need a hip replacement.
Thank you. I'm going to ask you a few questions about your mobility. Can you tell us how far you could walk last December?
Well, it hasn't got any better from till now. Basically not very far. Like even today, just moving from the meeting room into here, it was very, very painful.
The doctor will ask you a series of questions relating to your ability to get around. You will be asked for examples of the mobilising you do and about how you can manage. The panel may also ask you more challenging questions to allow you to address conflicts in the evidence.
The healthcare professional who did the medical assessment for your PIP claim noted that you go to the supermarket every week with your wife. Can you describe to us today how you get to the supermarket and what it's like for you getting around the supermarket?
Well, my wife drives up to the front of the supermarket, front door, and they provide a mobility scooter. So basically I just use the mobility scooter when we're doing the shopping. To be honest, I don't really like going to the supermarket, but I've been told I have to get out and about more. And when I was at the medical assessment, the doctor just asked me, do I go to the supermarket? And I said yes and was about to tell him more about it, but he just moved on to the next question.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Mr. Barlow. My colleague, Mrs. Smith, is now going to ask you some questions about your daily living activities.
Good afternoon, Mr. Barlow. I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions in relation to what you had put in your claim form. The areas that I've noted that you have said that you have difficulties with are in the difficulties that you've had with preparing a meal for yourself, with bathing and getting washed, with dressing and undressing, and then later in the form you said that you had some problems with face-to-face contact, really meeting other people. Is that right?
Yeah, there are most of the activities that refer to me, yeah.
Would you mind giving us some idea of the difficulties that you would have had at that time when trying to prepare a meal for yourself?
Basically, when I'm in the kitchen, when I'm cooking a meal, it's difficulties around my back and around my hip. But the main issue is that I just lack the motivation to do cooking and almost everything. I need a lot of help with even the most basic activity, and to be honest, I got a lot of help today just to come to this appeal.
Again, you will be asked a series of questions about your ability to do certain tasks. The questions will largely reflect the criteria, but again the panel may seek to examine your evidence. For example, they may ask how your ability to complete one task compares with your inability to complete another.
You advised us today that you're unable to wash the lower half of your body, but the doctor who examined you as part of your claim has stated that you are able to manage your own footwear. Can you explain how you can do that, but yet you can't wash the lower half of your body?
The main thing is that I often wear slip-on shoes, and I don't really go out of the house too often, but I do go shopping sometimes, and I have to attend medical assessments. But when I do that, I just normally wear slip-on shoes. But for me, the main problem is putting on trousers and socks. When I bend, I have a nipping in my hip that's very, very painful, and it really stops me from putting on my socks and my trousers.
Thank you, Mr. Barlow. I don't have any other questions for you.
Thank you, Mr. Barlow. Now, is there anything else that either of you would like to add?
Yes, please. I'm with Francis every day, and I can see his condition has deteriorated over the years. I attended the medical assessment with him and feels it lacks some detail about his condition. I feel like Francis did play a part in this though, as he was very nervous and down on the day, and I think he just wanted to get it over with as soon as possible, so he didn't fully explain the level of his problems. And when I saw the assessment report on the appeal papers, I feel like some of his answers were taken out of context. As you've discussed, Francis is on quite strong medication, and we're hoping that if the first hip replacement is successful, then he can get the other hip done. I think that an improvement in his physical health will lead to improvement in his mental health. Francis mentioned about going to the supermarket, and I have to say it's quite a struggle to get him out of the house, especially in December, when I struggled to get him out on a monthly basis, never mind a weekly basis, because he was just so reluctant to go.
Thank you for that. Now, if no one else has anything to say, the Tribunal is going to take some time now just to make a decision on the appeal.
While you're in the waiting room, the 3 panel members will discuss what points, if any, they feel you should score. The panel must follow the law and can only allow your appeal if they feel the evidence overall shows you should score enough points. Some of the time, the panel will call you back in to issue the decision, but most panels will post out the decision instead. The Tribunal will also issue a copy of the decision to the department. Following your appeal, you may wish to seek further advice on the following issues. If your appeal is successful, you should receive arrears and subsequent payments of personal independence payment. You may also be entitled to other benefits. If you're unhappy with the outcome, it is possible to request a statement of reasons for the Tribunal's decision within 1 month. Following receipt, you may be able to appeal against the decision, but only if you can show the Tribunal has made a legal error. You can also consider making another claim for personal independence payment. Thank you for watching our video. We hope it will encourage you to attend your appeal hearing. Your hearing should be more informal than a court hearing, and you should have an opportunity to explain your difficulties with daily living and mobilising. All parties should treat each other with respect. We understand the process may seem quite daunting, but if you meet the criteria for an award, your chances of success are normally much better if you are able to attend the hearing. Remember, any evidence you can obtain that shows you meet the criteria will greatly assist in your appeal, and quality advice and assistance may also increase your chances of success. So good luck with your appeal.